All right. Well, let's get into this, guys, because the name of the game, right, is like we all know what needs to be done, right? Like we can all sit down and think of things. We can go to these sales conferences and we get this. Like the key is how do we get it into action as fast as possible and make it a part of our business, right? And this isn't something that we do once, this isn't something we do twice. How do we do this over and over again? Because that's the piece that's actually going to create the momentum, right? Like that's what's going to kind of get you guys into the end here. And I mean, you guys, some of the top producers in the country are on this call here. So as we're going through, I want this to be super interactive. Like if you guys are seeing something, if there's something that you guys are seeing that you want to, add in there that you think would add value, please do. This does not have to be just a straight talk track and stuff here. So make sure that you guys are contributing as well. But let's get into it, right? So we talk about this a lot, that success isn't necessarily sexy. It's the consistency that's sexy. And chaos becomes very expensive at the end of the day. So this is where, how do we quiet the noise? Because we have so many things that are thrown at us every single day. I saw something and I didn't fact check it or anything like that, but I saw something that said that we're advertised over 1,500 times a day right now. Like, think about that. Like, that's on phones, emails. Oh, you looked at a Nike website and now you see Nike following you every different website and stuff you go, right? So there's all of this that's being thrown at us, right? We're constantly being marketed and advertised to, and everything looks like a good idea. I don't know about you guys, but I'm an eternal like optimist, and I think that everything will work. And here's the thing. I think that everything can and will work as long as you're consistent, as long as you follow the plan. I don't care if it's Buffini. I don't care if it's Mike Ferry. I don't care if it's Tom Ferry. I don't care if it's Club Wealth and Michael Hellickson. I don't care if it's REOs. I don't care if it's door knocking. If you do the right thing enough, you will get lucky. I promise you. And it's not that you're actually getting lucky, it's that you put in the work up until then in order to deliver the results that you guys are looking for. And in this world of instant gratification, most people aren't willing to stick it out right now. They'll be like, man, I applied for a bank and they said their network was full. And, right, like when did you follow up next? How did you add value? This is what our business plan needs to be looking like on how we get to where you guys want to be. So successful businesses repeat the right actions every single day, right? Like I can't repeat that enough. Successful businesses repeat the right actions every single day. And they know that emotions create chaos, right? If you guys have ever been in an office or a work environment, right, where there was a drama, or maybe it was even a friend circle, right, where there's always constant, gossip and things, and everybody's always fighting because of somebody's spreading rumors and stuff like that. Like that emotion creates chaos, and it's not a part of my life at this point in time because I don't have time for it. But I can tell you that systems create income. When we can duplicate the results over and over and over again, and professionals build systems, right? I was on a accountability call yesterday, and we were talking about text messages, right? In the chat box, how many of you guys use text replacement or even know what the heck text replacement is? I'm just waiting. So Vicky does. So that tells me, here's the thing, text replacement is crazy. Anytime that I do something more than 3 times, I'm like, damn, we need a system for this. So I invite lots of people to Funnel Pilot webinars or to join our REO Alliance referral network or this. Literally, all I have to do is text a couple of words. I can text like live, L-I-V-E-E, and I put 2 E's. Otherwise, the text replacement will come up every time you type live. And literally, there's a whole paragraph that's typed out like that. That's what we're talking about, building systems, building scalability on that. And again, like part of this, I see Ryan's like, damn, I forgot until you mentioned it. This is why we have these calls. This is why we repeat the same messaging over and over again, because we need to get it back in your mind until there's enough leverage to get you to take some action, right? Till you're like, damn, I have no time. And I've, and you start realizing that you texted 10 people a very similar type script, whether it's a buyer or seller, right? Create that perfect script and have it go out every single time with something like text replacement. So that's what we're talking about here. Let's get rid of the emotions. Let's create some let's create some income by building some systems and stuff here. So here's the real problem, is that agents, right, have inconsistent lead generation, right? Like they'll do open houses for a month. They will cold call. They will follow up with their database. They will do these things, and then they get busy, and then they start babysitting these deals, and they start pulling back on their calls, and then they start going through this up and down roller coaster. Anybody relate to that? Right? Like I'm guilty of it as well. Like sometimes my business gets really, really boring, or it gets very repetitive, having very similar discovery calls and conversations and opportunity calls and stuff with agents across the country, right? Like it gets very monotonous. And so this is where like there has to be kind of like, how do we create this flow? How do we take some of this off of your plate? As I get 40 or 50 appointments set, how do I get 40 or 50 appointments set for the next week and the next week and the next week? Right? That's where we have to start building these systems and stuff. And most agents have very inconsistent lead generation. That's the first part. The second part is they have no structured follow-up. Guys, I'm guilty of this. Like, how many of you guys have said, oh, it was a bad lead? Like, and that's bullshit. It wasn't a bad lead. We either didn't follow up enough or we didn't add enough value. Right? That is not the buyer or seller's fault that a stranger reached out to them and they didn't automatically say, oh yeah, Randy, I love you to death. Let's do business for the rest of our life. This is a rapport building business. And you guys have to build rapport and relationships. So this is where when we talk about this, and we'll get more in depth into this, like what happens if every lead came in, they were automatically followed up with, they were connected with on social media, and you had content about why they followed up with you online, and now they start seeing you everywhere. And that's not something that happens overnight, but it starts day one, and then day two, and day three, and we continue to build on that. So inconsistent lead generation is huge. Non-structured follow-up. Every lead is handled a little bit different at different times, which is going to create a mess of conversion ratios, and you're not going to know what's working and what's not working. The third thing is that most agents are doing low-dollar tasks because they're hiding from the things that actually make them money because I feel uncomfortable. I don't have the right script. We start making up all of these different things and we get in our own way of success. Oh, I'm overwhelmed right now. I have kids, I have family. That's called life. And for all of us, I hope that never ends anytime soon, right? Like we are here for it. And so this is where we got to lean into it. We can't change the life that we have like right this second, but we can make the most of it. And then we can start to guide and shape what we want our future life to look like if it doesn't look like what you want it to right now. And then this is the other part, a single stream of income, right? What if you can make $3 or $4 instead of $1 on every transaction? And so we're going to talk about how we're going to leverage that and create these multiple streams of income for the same things that you guys are doing right now. And And that's kind of like, that's the real problem that we have in real estate. And here's the thing, right? Like when we get our real estate license, nobody teaches us how to do this. This is where we as a collective community can help other people learn from what we've went through and help them build better systems faster. And I guarantee you guys, the more value that you guys add to others, the more valuable you will become, right? We are not owed anything at this point. We have to reinvent ourselves, reinvent relationships, and continuously add value to our clients every single day, over and over and over again. So let's start with lead generation, because this is the biggest piece of it for real estate agents. If we don't have business coming in, like that's very hard for us to sustain this. So in the chat box, what are some of the things that you guys do for lead generation at this point in time? Type it in there for me. This is the interactive part where you guys are supposed to go to the chat box and start typing. So when we talk about this, right, there's a number of things, right? Center of influence is one that I think should be on everybody's list. Everybody has a center of influence. And hopefully all of you guys have sales. This is where I will ask you, Kelly Jones, maybe you could answer this for me. Like, how many homes do you think Jeff has sold over his years of real estate?
It's probably close to 3,000. I don't know.
Question.
I know it's over.
I only ask you because like I know he would like you know the back end, you're the operator in the relationship and stuff there, right? Do you guys have 3,000 people in your database that have bought homes from you that are automatically being followed up with, maybe quarterly, maybe monthly, that says, hey, I know that you had no desire to sell your home, but most people love to see if their home appreciated or depreciated. Here's a snapshot. Do you guys take your people and put them in for future business?
Absolutely. And we actually market to the people that bought the home as well.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
agents
Because
don't follow up with,
a lot of your business is on the REO side of things, right? And so this is where we gain new clients because the other agent isn't doing this shit for some reason. Don't know why. So talk us through like what you guys do, as follow-up for people that have either bought or sold homes and stuff with you guys.
Well, we have them on a drip campaign, and then we have them on our newsletter that goes out, our client events that we do. Even if they're not local, we still reach out to them. We've actually gotten referrals from that. And then we just started Reminder Media as well, which is a magazine that gets mailed to them.
Okay. Do you guys connect with them on social media at all?
Yes.
Beautiful. Like this is the start of a system. Now, Jeff didn't have all of this 20 or 30 years ago, right? Like Jeff and Kelly didn't have, this has been things that they've had to build. And just like the magazine is the newest piece, this is where you continue to reinvent yourself and add value at the end of it. I'm just reading messages and stuff from Jeff there. You can speak up too, Jeff. I just knew that Kelly would know actually what happens. Like I thought you might have an idea, but I know Kelly would be able to tell me some specifics.
He's prospecting.
Yes. Beautiful. So that is an idea of a system. And, here's the thing. I know that they're sitting on almost 30 listings right now or 30 homes in inventory right now. There is a reason that their business looks different. One, because Jeff is on the call calling, right? He's prospecting every morning for 2 to 3 hours on that. Some people might be like, I don't want to prospect, and that's okay too. You have to find something that works for you. And that could be open houses, right? Like somebody comes into your open house. Do you require them to sign in? Some people are like, oh, well, no, I think that's pushy. They don't want to sign in. Here's the newsflash. They are never going to do business with you if they don't sign in. Like, this is your open house. Like, I used to frame it as, hey, look, this is a requirement that my buyer is, or my seller is asking, that everybody's required to register. They come in, I love Open Home Pro because it goes straight into my database. It can connect and stuff over here. That saves me steps, right? As we're talking about building systems. I've used notepads and stuff in the past. And guess what? We used a notepad one time. And this was when we were testing some of these auction systems. And I had 144 people through an open house. I could probably read 30 of those people's handwriting, right? Because so this is where I moved to Open Home Pro, right? A system where they're typing it, or maybe I type it for them or something like that. You capture that info, and everybody that comes in on the open house should now be followed up with. And I'm a huge proponent of video, right? Somebody comes into an open house. Before I leave, I'm going to text a message in front of that house, and I'm going to say, hey, this is Larry White over at Banana Real Estate. I just wanted to say thank you for coming to the open house at 123 Main Street. There's a lot of people here. I know only one person's going to get this opportunity, but I'm going to send over some other homes that are very similar to this. And if you have any questions, or if you even want to see some inventory before it comes on the market, let me know. Imagine if that happened with every one of your open houses. How many more people would connect with you? Now what happens if you connect with them on social media? Now what happens if you do this? Now what happens if you do that? You don't have to have all of this tomorrow, but you have to have a vision of what you want your future business to look like. So that way you can start stacking this together, right? So one, you have to have, I would say, at least 3 pillars of business coming in right now. And the things that are non-productive, you need to figure out ways to outsource it. And I know if you're not doing the business that you want, the last thing that we want is an additional cost. This should not be a cost. I'm not saying outsource something and then you sit around all day, or you go to the gym more, or do this. That needs to be filled with dollar productive behavior. And that looks like prospecting, lead follow-up, appointment setting, and negotiation. Those 4 things you should be spending 80% of your time on. If you have a team, your team should be spending 80% of their time on those activities. I'm not saying that other things don't need to happen. I'm saying that you should not be spending your, you should not be doing $20 an hour jobs when you should be doing $1,000 an hour jobs, right? And we've ran through the numbers on different things. And this is where we get into AI and automation. Like, AI will not replace you. AI will help get you up to that next level. It can expedite things. If you're writing scripting, if you're doing things versus doing all of this, it can do it in seconds. And now you can use that time for other activities. And then, right, we're going to lean into this multiple streams of income. Like, what if you were I can only do this in some states with title and escrow, but in Florida and in Texas, right, you're allowed to have a JV type partnership with the title and escrow company. So when Ariana and I have options to send title business, here we use a company that we also get a dividend check from every single quarter, right? Like, that's a lot different than somebody's like, oh yeah, I'll give you free CE courses, right? Like, I mean, man, thank you. But is that something that needs to be done? Yes, it is. Is that something that is producing more income? No, we have to have it. And so we got to build in some time for that. On the flip side, right? Like, we had Texana Bank and stuff on here. A lot of you guys are lenders. Like, what happens if you got compensated on the financing side of things as well, but somebody else was doing the work? This is where we start leveraging that and start talking about how we can make $3 or $4 instead of $1 on every single transaction and stuff comes through, right? How do we create more income from the work that we're doing now? This is why you have follow-up systems. So now you have more referral business and stuff coming in. This is why you get reviews from people, right? Like all of these are things, but if you don't know what your ideal setup and system is, get it out of your head and onto paper. And if it doesn't look that way, start adding things a little bit at a time. Again, you don't need to do a 360 and turn around in a circle. We just need to be making small little improvements every single day in order to get there to the next level. So, pillar one, daily conversations, right? Lead generation is the biggest part of our business, right? Database nurturing, automated marketing, and having 3 pillars of business. I want any of you guys that are paying attention now, what are your 3 forms of business that you guys focus on? Put it in the chat box and stuff for me.
I'll be back. Okay.
I love you too, Mike. Let's mute Mike there before he starts confessing his Valentine's Day love here publicly. So lead generation, lead follow-up, and lead conversion. Jeff, what are your forms of lead generation? I know you have REO. I know that you have expired and FSBOs. Do you have any sources, any other sources of leads?
SOI. His SOI.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. SOI and default. I mean, I know you said REO, but REO and default are 2 different things, right?
Sure.
REO, like just got a call from assignment 5 minutes ago for an REO, right? It's already in, the bank owns it, foreclosed last year. But I'm going and I'm fishing upstream. I'm looking for those folks that are in default that need help, that need some guidance, that don't know they can sell their home for less than they owe on it, right? So there are all kinds of different things that we can be doing to get business. And you've got to have at least, at a minimum, 3 lead pillars, and you've got to be doing online leads. They are a pain in the butt and they suck, but they convert if you are doing what I said in lead follow-up, right? Lead follow-up is so very important. The fortune is in the follow-up. It really is. And then calling those leads right away. You know, if you're calling leads in 5 minutes or more, then your chances of getting on the phone with that person plummets like 500%. It's like forget it, right? So you got to be calling people back within like 30 seconds or less.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you have to have something reaching out to them. This is where you'll see like some of these top groups and teams, right? As soon as something comes in, a text message is going out. Hey, it's Larry White from Banana Real Estate Group. And hey, I just saw that you clicked on that. I'm on a call right now, but I'm setting the precedence for what's going to happen next, right? So this is where we start to build these systems. And again, if you're balling on a budget right now, that system needs to be you. And then as you start to build, we can start to add in. But a lot of this stuff, you guys have CRMs and stuff that already do a lot of this. You just have to set it up, right? Well, it's hard. Well, I don't know how to do it. Yeah, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And everybody would have the same production. There is a reason that the cream always rises to the top, because there's somebody willing to outwork us, out hustle us, etc. Right? When we've been able to get that going. How many of you guys on here are using, like since September, when co-sponsorship opened up, right? Like we introduced Funnel Pilot to a large portion of our group. How many of you guys are using Funnel Pilot in this group or that are on this call right now? Just started.
Type in the chat.
Yeah. Are beautiful. Guys, if you are not using that, when we talk about a system, this is where you can tap into a system that's already built out. Literally, I'm not telling you to go create an ad on Meta. This is where the Honey Badger group you'll give them some data on 3 different markets. You guys will give them data. They will analyze the markets that you want to be working and then come back with a report that says, look, this is where we're going to get the biggest bang for the biggest buck. For those of you guys that are saying yes and that you're using it, how many leads has that generated for you? Type that in the chat box for me while talking through this here. So here's the thing. They're going to take that information and say, look, I'm going to recommend in Katy, Texas, that we do new home sales. That's going to give us the most amount of leads at the lowest cost, etc. Then they're going to use AI. They used to just kind of think of what picture, what verbiage are we going to use, etc. Now AI is helping them get like really critical. They can say, okay, who's moving to Katy, Texas? Oh, it's people that are relocating from Montana in this area. They're in the oil and gas business. They're this, they're that, right? And then they're going to create a picture that relates with those people because people do business with others that they know, like, and trust. And then when somebody clicks on that, now it's going to feed directly into your CRM with a follow-up campaign already attached to it. They're going to do that for you. Now, Jay doesn't even sell this. He used to sell that platform for $15,000, $20,000 to only team leaders, right? In the past, if you wanted to be on his team and use this, it was $7,000 to join his team and then a 50-50 split. But he would take agents from 10 to 12 deals and build them to 70, 80, 90 transactions, right? And now he only does it through co-sponsorship. So for those of you guys, like, I know that, you know, in Arizona, I tested it myself, 103 registered buyer leads in the first 30 days. 7 of those went to my lender and 4 were fully pre-qualified. Now, I'll be fully transparent. We have not closed a deal, but literally I see appointments being set every single day and pre-qualified buyers every single day. And our pipeline is really big on that. Now, if you want to be like, if that interests you, if that system interests you, this is where the key to Jay's heart is co-sponsorship. So let me help you bring somebody in. We'll help them increase their business. When they come in and join, literally, I will be able to get both of you guys that system, and it doesn't cost either of you guys anything. Full disclosure, it costs $10 a day for the ads. I have my lender pay for that. So it costs me $0 at this point in time. So Mike, I saw, how do you get started with that? Introduce me to some agents that you think that system would work. And, you know, Jeff or myself can help with a script to make some introductions, and we'll help you grow that. One, will help other people grow underneath you, and we'll get you that for free as well. But that's what we're talking about, a system. And there was a reason that Jay did over 500 deals a year in Lawton, Oklahoma, is because he had that system so dialed in, right? So this is where you guys got to think about that, right? Your database nurturing. Everybody that you know that adds a home should be on a follow-up campaign, right? Even if you didn't buy or sell their home, set them up on a monthly marketing report, a quarterly market report. There's so many systems. Your MLS probably does it. And you can change the scripting that says, hey, Mike, I know that you had no desire to sell, but most people love to see if their home appreciated or depreciated. Here's a snapshot. And then your CRM should tell you when somebody clicks on that 4, 5, 6 times. And it should send you messages that's like, man, Jeff, you need to follow up with Larry right now. And then you call that person. And then they're like, oh my God, Jeff, I was just thinking of you. And Jeff's like, no shit, you were thinking of me. And I called. This is so great. It's like the heavens have aligned. What can I do for you? That is where the systems will help you do this. But if you're not adding people to your database to nurture them every single day, that system will never work. If you turn on that funnel pilot and you don't follow up with the leads, that will never work, right? So this is where you guys have to make sure that this is a part of your daily activities and something that you guys are focusing on, right? But 3 lead sources minimum. You don't need 100, right? But you need at least 3, so that way you're diversified on that. And then we need to start building these systems around it. Now, Jeff talked about this, speed to lead. And I don't remember the number, but it's something crazy. Like after the first 5 minutes, if you don't call within the first 5 minutes, your probability of following up and converting those leads drops by something stupid. The last number I remember is like a 1,700% drop off,
No, it's
right?
it's a,
It just
it's 400.
400%, like it goes off of a cliff. It's like here, like just falling dramatically, right? So speed to lead. And again, if you're not, somebody needs to, right? On this, what are you going to say? Right? Ryan Dykstra and I were working on scripting yesterday, and it was uncomfortable as hell because it was one of his first times using it. That's the only way that we get better is through script and role play and working with people. So like Ryan, like you and James Brown, like should be talking to each other. So that way, when I call you out next week, it's smoother, it's shorter, it's more condensed, and we work on all of those things that we have. Right? So one, we got to call within the first 5 minutes. Absolutely. Like that's a non-negotiable. We got to know what we're going to say to be able to add value to them. Make sure that they get added into our CRM. And then we never leave a call without setting that next appointment. Right? That's a big part. When do you want me to reach out to introduce you to lenders? When do you want to go start looking at homes? Great. I will put that on our calendar. Right? It's constantly, when is the next follow-up plan after that to be able to get that? And this is where the more you have this automated, right? We went from 609 agents to 700 and I think 59 as it sits today since September of last year. But every one of those people, right? They come in and we have a system, right? We reach out, we welcome them to the family. They get set up into my Google contacts. So that way, if somebody calls me, I can see their name. I know where they're coming from. And that's why I answer all of their calls. They're going to start getting educated on where to go for the fast track series for this. Hey, if you wanted to be an REO, make sure that you're on this call, right? For about 8 months, I'm going to be following up with them, trying to guide them in the right direction. And there's multiple times like, look, if you need more of my time, here's my calendar link, set that up, right? The lead is the same. I just built a slightly different process because it doesn't matter if we're selling loans or widgets or companies or anything else. The sales process is the same along the way. So what does your system look like? Is it where it needs to be? Pick one or two things that we've talked about to be able to add into your business when we leave this. Virtual assistants. This has been a big talk, right? I use a company called Coma that does disc tests and goes through a lot of interviews before they send people with me. And I see Kathy on. Like Kathy and I are going on 2 years, and I don't know what my life would be like without her. Right? A lot of you guys are like, Larry, when do you have time? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like, you're going to have to ask Kathy, like, what my calendar and stuff looks like, right? Like, because I don't know. I just show up for the calls that are set every single day, and there's a lot of them. But this is where Kathy, right? I've taught her to do a lot of the things that I used to do on the marketing side, on the advertising side. So my messaging and my branding remains the same at this point in time, right? But this is where you can use a lot of resources to help you, right? I think everybody on this call should have a transaction coordinator. Well, I don't have enough to afford one of those. I don't think you have enough to afford not to, is actually what I think. Your time, that extra hour or two that you're spending on that transaction, how much more business could you generate from that? And at that point, like, I don't even care. It could be a low producing thing. That is still going to be better off than you doing that yourself, right? So transaction coordinator, making sure that you're outsourcing the thing so you can spend the most amount of time on dollar productive behavior. Like, that is a must, right? This is where you start to build your ecosystem, right? Like, because, and this is what got me into REO. When my team was doing 322 deals, I had buyer's agents, I had listing agents, I had title and escrow, I had loan officers, I had rekey experts, I had contractors, I had all, like, you start helping everybody else do more business. Like, think bigger. There is enough business for all of us. And how do you affect somebody else's life in a positive way? That's what we can do through production. That's what we can do like through helping other agents do more business at this point in time, and protect your revenue hours. Jeff Russell, what time do you call every single day?
7:59 a.m.
7:50. Why not 8 o'clock, my friend?
Because people are already talking to people. I mean, 7:59 is too late, but unfortunately, I like to follow the rules. But by 7:59, they've already talked to 10 investors and 20 agents that, don't have the decency to wait till 8 a.m. to call. So I call it 7:59.
Okay, so 7:59. That's his proctor. Like, you have to build that out, because here's the thing, guys. Life is going to get in the way. You have kids, you have pets, you just have friends. Life is going to get in the way. What is your non-negotiable in your business every single day? It doesn't need to be all 8 hours to start with. Like, you get, like Jeff, if you look at his calendar, it is, right? It is. His entire day is planned out from start to finish. That is not conducive for most people, especially if you're not calendared with anything right now. So pick 1 or 2 times, right? Look, I'm going to do an hour here and an hour here. I can tell you, the earlier that you do that in the day, the more likely it is to come true. Because you wait till the end of the day, that's when all of your fires are going to be coming down, and now you have timelines and pressure. And I promise you, you're going to take that fire over producing future business every day. And this is just from coaching thousands of agents at this point in time. Like, I've just seen it. Like, I've gotten to a point where I can recognize patterns in people's business and where the bottlenecks and stuff are going to be, because like you can start to realize these patterns over and over and over again. So do it in the morning, get that stuff out of the way. And you guys got to have some leverage, right? We're not going to get into the why and stuff, but you guys have to have some leverage that's going to get you to change your behavior and stuff right now. So this is where, right, like the follow-up sequence, this is where AI comes in, right? Like, leverage your AI like a CEO, a CMO. This is where you have the ability, like, this AI branches out and does research on every different platform. Is it perfect? No. Is it better than what you're doing right now? Hell yes, it is. Right? Like, I've had some pictures go out there for speaking engagements that are like AI generated, and literally, like, out of the thousands of people, there might be 3 or 4 that it's like, hey, that picture looks a little bit funny. Cool. I don't care, right? Like, because you're talking about 4 people out of thousands. Same thing with video. With that whole funnel pilot system, we also have a branding section where our team will go in and build out your branding. And then we also have a social media side, which we're giving people scripts and stuff for that as well. Of like, look, these are why people are clicking on your link, create this content. Now that's going to help build your SEO when people are searching for best school districts in KDISD, best schools, this, that, where are quiet neighborhoods, right? Like, use AI to figure out what your videos, what your scripting, what your content, like, there's companies like Quill that we've had on here that will write your description in fair housing language and stuff like that. Marketing content, statements of work, right? Your SOPs for other people to follow. This is what creates scalability. And where I was getting at that on the video, right? Look, we've had HeyGen and stuff on here in the past, and it's a little weird to be able to put a script in and all of a sudden, like, there's a picture of you and your mouth starts moving. But it's getting better every single day. And this is where we're going to take that off of everybody's plate. I post a lot of social media content, but it's still not consistent as it needs to be. We're going to start testing this where I'm going to be feeding it scripts and things like that. And literally, there's going to be content going out every single day. I don't, if you're like, man, I don't like that, Larry. Great. Do you like your business where it's at right now? Like, it's not going to affect me. Whatever you decide to do, you have to be comfortable with the results. Whether that's prospecting and cold calling, whether that's like I see Susie on here, right? And she's been prospecting every single morning via text since September. Just recently, she started picking up the phone, and I reached out. I was like, man, I am so effing proud of you. Like, because that is a huge step. But now she's starting to get into more conversations and stuff, right? Because she wasn't happy with her results from texting. And so she shifted that. And that is what we constantly have to be doing, is shifting and evolving, shifting and evolving, shifting and evolving over and over again. And then this is where, again, when we start talking about multiple streams of income, right, guys? I think all of you guys should have some sort of a title play. You guys add value no matter who you partner with. How are they adding value to you? Every company you cannot have a JV with. Like I said, on that title venture, I can only do that in Texas and Florida. Those are the only two states that I know of. It goes through the SEC, etc. There are some other models that are like, like rev share driven and stuff there. Again, do some diligence and research. But even if you're not a part of that ownership, how is that partner adding value to you? Maybe they're paying your $10 a day ad spend for the funnel pilot, and then all of those leads are going back through. Like, this is where it doesn't need to be a quid pro quo, right? It doesn't need to be I do this and you do this, and it has to equal a 1-for-1. But everybody should be bringing something to the table, right? No matter who you're partnered with. Home inspectors. Are you hosting events? Are they helping sponsor, right? If you're driving all of your business there. These are the things. It just has to be win-win. And that helps keep more money in your pocket. So I think everybody should have some sort of a very good title relationship. And the last downturn, that is what got me into precision asset management. I was doing so much business with Fidelity. And so Melissa Shapiro was actually having breakfast with Michael Hermosia, who created precision asset management. And because I sent them so many short sale deals, she called me and was like, hey, I'm having breakfast with Michael. Do you want to come? I was like, yes, absolutely. Like, I went out to that breakfast. The next day, I got an email from his assistant getting me onboarded into Precision. And then the next week I had business coming in. It was only because of the value that I had added to that title company at that point in time. Who are your partners? How are they adding value to you? The lending side of things. A lot of you guys are already, like have an MLO license and stuff like that. Here's the thing. For me, that was too daunting of a task. I've tried it too many times. Do I like the idea of also being compensated on this? Yes, absolutely I do. But this is where I introduced Texana Bank, where they have an RMO, where you don't have to be licensed because they're a federally chartered bank. And every deal that I send over, I can make up to 50 basis points, which is a 0.5 percentage point on every single loan. They have a ton of different products and stuff there. I think you guys should have a relationship like that on the lending side, right? Or are they paying for your marketing, right? How are they partnered with you at the end of the day in order to do this, right? A big part of our group, is with Nexa Mortgage, which has a very similar structure to EXP. But the big thing for me is I don't want to do the business myself. I want to send it to other people. At this point, I want my loan officers to be better than I can ever be at that point, because that's what they do every single day. So I think you should have some sort of a title partnership. I think you should have some sort of a lending partnership at this point in time. We talked about multiple like lead pillars and stuff like that, right? Like, who are your partners on this side of things? You guys add value to everybody that you work with. Pick the right partner that adds value to you as well. This is where, we're doing so much on the growth and revenue share by helping other agents produce more business and stuff right now. We're onboarding 2 brokerages right now. one with 18 people in Atlanta, the other with 12 agents up in Buffalo, because of how much value we're going to be able to add to their agents. Imagine if I can get every one of their agents into the Fast Cap program, right? Which at the end of that program is on average generating 3 to 4 contracts written for every agent that completes that. What if we can add them on to the funnel pilot program where they're generating 2 to 6 registered buyer leads a day? What's going to happen with those agents' productivity? Like, they're going to fall into business even if they're not doing the right things. And the only way that we grow is if we actually deliver on this. And so we're having the most growth that I've seen since I've been here in my 8 or 9 years at EXP. And we're also having the highest retention, which tells me that we're doing something right. When you look at the numbers, it will tell you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong at the end of the day. And that's where you constantly want to keep reevaluating and improving to add value to your clients. So here's the thing, guys. Like, consistency is going to trump it every single day. Even if you're saying the wrong thing, the wrong script, saying this, if you do it every single day, you're going to create opportunities and you're going to build your strength and you're going to get better. So you need to be able to figure out, like, what is your weekly discipline? What is your cadence? What are the non-negotiables that you're going to do every single day? And just start with 1 or 2 things that you're adding to, or some time to work on your business instead of in your business, right? And start implementing some of these things. Have a 90-day focus, right? If you were to do this every single day for the next 90 days, what do you think that will do to your business? And this is where we can start to predict that income, right? I can tell you on average, for every 60 people that you come in contact with, it turns into a contract on average. Now, the better you get at your scripting, the better you get at everything else, that starts to increase. I can tell you that when Jay Kinder and I get on a phone call with an agent together, we have about a 50% conversion ratio because we blow their fucking mind, right? We offer them something that they've never seen before. That's only because Jay and I are on 40 to 50 calls every single week over and over again. And this is where, like, I don't know if Jay's starting to sound like me or I'm starting to talk about Jay, because we're on so many calls together. And every time it's just script and role playing and identifying problems in agents' business and then coming back and solving it. And so the numbers are telling us that we are doing something, and we are doing something very well right now. And we're having a lot of fun with it. And so that is, like, you know, I wanted to come back to the basics and stuff for today, because we get caught so, like, pie in the sky and all of these different things that we could do. It comes back to the basics of implementing small things every single day and continuing to grow. So with that being said, anybody have questions, comments, concerns, anything that they want to add at the end of the day, as my wife is creeping around my office for some reason? Anybody have anything to add? Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. I hope you guys got some value out of it. I would advise you I would take 1 or 2 things from this, right? Like, don't change your entire business structure or anything like that. Take 1 or 2, 3 things and implement it into your business. That's what I add. Like, that's the only thing I want out of every one of these Friday calls. Not to change what you guys are doing. You guys are perfect the way you are now, as long as you guys are happy with the results. If you're not, like, start making some change. Jump on these calls, learn from other people that are operating at a very high level, and implement it and do something with it. So I love you guys to death. I am so excited about what we are building and stuff here, the traction and stuff that we have. If you need anything, please call, text, or email me, and then I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.